even have that conversation. To even address this conversation, it's not going to happen, right? The Dallas Cowboys are a trash team and trash organization. I mean, if Dak Prescott can't win with this team, how is freaking old Cooper Rush going to do that, right? Come on. Derek says, I think Jerry signed a heavy contract to trade him to take up a team's bankroll. So, Derek, you are thinking that Dak Prescott is being traded to a team kind of like... So, let's talk about this. Let's legitimately talk about this, because when we look at the Deshaun Watson, right, back in 2019, playing top-notch, MVP-level type of quarterback, right? I don't know if he actually won an MVP, but he was definitely playing at the MVP level. Was taking the Houston Texans to the playoffs, winning a lot of football games. He signed that $100 million deal back in 2019 with the Houston Texans. 3 months after the fact, he's like, I want out, right? All of a sudden, the Browns are like, hey, we'll take your guy. We don't like Baker. We'll take your guy. And here's $240 million guaranteed. Granted, Deshaun Watson was playing very, very good football. Arguably a top 5, top 10 quarterback in the NFL, hands down. So, is there a team out there willing to do this again? Willing to, we saw the disaster what it's been with Deshaun. Is it an outlier or the norm? We don't know. To be determined, right? Is there a team out there willing to give another big contract to a quarterback that is proven he can be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, currently is not, but has the potential? What teams would legitimately do that? And the Raiders come to mind. The Raiders want to make a splash. The Raiders always want to be in the news. The Raiders are the Dallas Cowboys' little brothers, and they're trying to always outdo them, right? I could see the Raiders doing that. The Tennessee Titans, I don't foresee them doing that. I don't think the Tennessee Titans have the capital to do that. I don't think the Tennessee Titans have the want to do that. But if they were, so teams that would legitimately do it, guys, let me ask that question. What teams would legitimately go out there and trade for Dak Prescott? I'm saying the Raiders would do it. I would say the team like the New York Jets would do that. A team like the Miami Dolphins could do that, right? The Dolphins, they think they're right there. Maybe make a trade for Tua to Dallas, Dak to the Eagles. Let's see what happens. So I'm going to say Miami Dolphins, Raiders, and Jets would be my top 3. Who do you guys think? John says Prescott to the Raiders or the Browns. The Browns cannot afford it. It's simple as that. Unless something drastically happens, the Browns have a $175 million dead cap hit over the next 2 seasons for Deshaun. Whether Watson plays for the Browns or not, the next 2 seasons, they have a $72.8 million season dead cap hit this season, and it's $80 million the following season. The Browns definitely cannot afford him whatsoever. And I don't think the Browns would ever do that again. I think they've learned from that. Watson is done. No team has taken him other than the Raiders. LOL. That would be the only way Barry would redeem himself. Jerry would redeem himself, says James. Or is it Barry? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. Derek says, if offered, what quarterback trade for Dak would Jerry want? I mean, Jerry is all about must-see TV. Jerry wants that high-flying offense. Jerry wants the me, look how great we are. And why not go out there and trade a Dak Prescott for even a first-round pick, right? You guys just take his salary, you give us your first-round pick, and we'll go from there. And I think they would go out there and get a Shedeur Sanders, right? Very prolific, in-your-face guy. Think about this. Deion's son comes, saves the Dallas Cowboys, right? You can already see the writing on the wall. It would be on Fox and CBS and ESPN all the time. We would talk about, oh, Shedeur Sanders did this, Shedeur Sanders did this, right? It would be must-see TV or must talk about TV. Deion's son saves the Dallas Cowboys, whatever. If you guys think the NFL is rigged, the storyline is there. It's written out, plain as day for you to come out and do, right? So I would be curious to see if that were to happen. But if Jerry would want a quarterback in the NFL, it would have to be somebody like Tua that is consistently in the news. Should he retire? Like, is it dangerous? It's a this, right? Or Aaron Rodgers, right? Aaron Rodgers would love the spotlight that Dallas has to offer. So it would have to be somebody like that is a very polarizing figure. Aaron Rodgers, Shedeur Sanders. I'm trying to think of other quarterbacks that really bring in that polarizing aspect of it, right? Obviously, Watson would be, Watson makes his epic comeback to Texas and look at massage parlors, whatever, yada, yada, yada. And we could definitely see that happen, like being talked about and being discussed. Brock Purdy, I don't know. Brock Purdy, he's polarizing. Mr. Irrelevant. It is tough. It is tough. Just thinking off the top of my head. Casey says if he was smart, it would be for draft picks. The key word is there. If he was smart, he's not smart. Casey, we know that. It's all about me. It's all about I. It's all about number one on my green mile. John says Trevor Lawrence for Dak. That's not going to happen. John says, I can see the Jags and a T-Law swap if looking for return. Can't stand T-Law. Trevor Lawrence is what, in his third year or so. When I first started doing the Man Hour in 2022, there Wayne G, right? Mark's Wayne G from the NFL Experts did a show called Infinity Sports. It was Wayne G and some other guy did the show. And Wayne G is a very, very stat-driven guy, right? He has a supercomputer. He has his draft experts, right? He's a very stat factual type of person. Wayne G said, and I quote, if you were to build a quarterback in a lab, bring a little bit of this part, a little bit of that part, a little bit of that part, it would be Trevor Lawrence, right? His co-host said it, Wayne G said it, and Combs and myself like, nah, Trevor Lawrence is going to be a bust, right? So far, everybody is wrong. Trevor Lawrence is not being really deemed a bust by most of the people. I still think he is very overrated, overhyped, but he definitely hasn't been that stereotypical quarterback built in a lab either. Trevor Lawrence just might need a change of scenery, right? Might need a offense willing to really teach him some things. And I think that's what's lacks in the NFL is the player development access of the NFL. Maybe Trevor Lawrence does need a new change of scenery. Dak to the Jaguars, it gives that Shere Khan guy, a big name guy, a former top 5 quarterback, has the potential to come back and be a top 5 quarterback. He has a brand new stadium being built. Let's put Dak as a guy. I mean, it would kind of make sense, right? It would kind of make sense, but I don't know. Would it be a straight trade? Because I think John said, it's wash. Straight trade, right? Trevor Lawrence is getting paid a lot of money. Dak Prescott getting paid a lot of money. I don't know. Casey says, forgot about the Giants. I can see Dak going there. If it was a free agency, yes. Trade, no. Would not be a trade. John says, I'm out with all this Dak negativity to the Raiders. It makes sense, though, John. Tell me it doesn't make sense. Tell me that Dak Prescott to the Las Vegas Raiders does not make sense. We were talking about it during the draft. Man, if the Raiders don't pick up a quarterback, we could see Dak Prescott going there. We could see before week 1 trade to Las Vegas for Dak Prescott. The Raiders need a need a quarterback. They need a quarterback, and Mark Davis wants to be the center of a tension. That gives you everything. That gives you everything you want. You guys keep saying that Dak to the Giants would boost him up, would boost the Giants up, boost them up big, put them on cloud 9 to the moon, baby. There is not going to be a interdivision trade for quarterbacks. because if, let's just play hypothetically here, right? If this trade were to happen, whether it's just for straight picks or Daniel Jones and this there and for that, but let's just say however it happens, let's say Dak Prescott gets on the New York Football Giants. Let's say Dak Prescott goes to the New York Football Giants and turns around that whole organization. Let's say Dak Prescott goes out there and is a top 5 quarterback for the New York Giants for the next 6 seasons. Gets them to a playoff. Gets into a Super Bowl. Wins them a Super Bowl. And Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones are still, they can win 12, 13 games, but they're still a first-round exit year after year after year for the next 6 seasons. How big of a buffoon would Jerry Jones look like? How much would the Dallas Cowboys fan base try to get Jerry Jones out at that particular time? You're terrible. It would be talked about every day for the next 20 years. You see the move that Jerry Jones made? That was stupid. That was asinine. Whatever. I don't know. It would be stuff. It would be stuff. If you could get him for late picks, wouldn't you take him? I mean, I would take Dak Prescott in a heartbeat, honestly. And I mean, there are only probably 3 quarterbacks that I would not replace Dak Prescott with. One being Josh Allen, other one being Lamar Jackson, other one being Patrick Mahomes. You might throw Joe Burrow up there. But every other team in the NFL, if you had the opportunity to get Dak Prescott, I told you this, they would jump at it. They would jump at that. John and Jim, you guys can say all you want. I don't want Dak Prescott like as a Raider, but you guys would jump at it if you had the opportunity, and you'd be happy, and you'd be like, "Oh, we got a top 5 quarterback in Dak Prescott." Casey says, knowing how dumb Jerry Jones is, he would want at least a first and a second and a 4th round draft pick. Wasn't that the Deshaun Watson trade? Watson trade details. I mean, the Browns gave up 1, 2, 3 first-round picks and 2 fourths in a third. So you are telling me, Casey, that Dak Prescott would not be worth that? Would not be worth 3 first-round picks, 2 fourth-round picks, and a third-round pick? I don't know. 3 first-round picks is a tough. Plus 2 fourths and a third. And a $230 million guaranteed contract. All to play 19 games. James says, only Andrew Berry can redeem himself is to figure out a way how to get a top quarterback that can win games. It would still be a gamble, but Dak ain't bad. See, even the Cleveland Browns, I want Dak. Casey says, Lawrence wouldn't bloom on that team that knows how to build a team. His downfall at the moment is his price tag, and no one wants to save that Dak. And Burrow just costs so much for a team that even not to even want to trade. James says, imagine Dak Prescott out there with Henry Ruggs III got out of jail. You know, all Ruggs is doing is working out. or he's taking the pipe. But yeah, if Henry Ruggs III is able to come back into the NFL, that would be a great success story. John says they are paid to say stupid shit like Mel Kiper, a moron. No, they're not. Dak is a head case, period. No one thinks in Vegas. No thinks in Vegas. How is he a head case? With all honesty, one quarterback I think would truly help the Raiders would be Baker. That would have been a great addition. Or Dak Prescott. Or Trey Lance. Get Trey Lance. Casey says, I'm just saying Jerry will either short end the deal or ask for too much. Okay, I got you. Yeah, Jerry Jones is not a very good bargaining man. All in or all out, right?